Well, along with my friendly little PO420, I also have a brake warning lamp. Well, actually, my e-brake's on right now, so that's why that's on. But what was happening was, just like before, I'd hit the brake, take off, and the light would go on again. Looked at the reservoir, the fluid was really low. I got a fast leak. The lines going from the metering valve in the front to the proportioning valve in the back are really rotted, and one of them is leaking pretty bad. Here's a picture. And then, there's also another line that's really rotted. It's going from the proportioning valve to the right rear wheel. Here's a picture of that. So, as you can see, I need to replace all those lines. And what I'm going to do is, because this car, it probably uses both double flares and bubble flares in the brake lines, I'm going to go to the junkyard. I'm going to pull the fittings off the metering valve, the proportioning valve, and everywhere else that I need, and I'm going to see what all the flares are there. I already ordered a bubble flaring kit and a double flaring kit, so those will be in soon. And then I'll be all set to make some brake lines. Just need some bulk line, and it's not going to be a fun job. But now to the junkyard. I also need to see exactly what size fittings I need for everything. I might have to reuse the fittings on the proportioning valve because I believe they're oversized fittings that are hard to get. That right there is the height-sensing proportioning valve on the rear. I just pulled a bit of line off because I wanted to see what kind of fitting and flare it was. I believe this is some kind of oversized fitting. I might have to reuse them on my car. And I see that it's a bubble flare, also called an ISO flare. ISO stands for International Standards Organization. Now I got to see what's at the metering valve and what fitting is right, what kind of flare is right there where this line goes into. Here's an interesting find, a Merkur Scorpio. Leather interior. Very, very interesting find. Well, it turns out that the fittings from the proportioning valve, the metering valves, and going to the hoses to the wheels are all the same size fittings, at least they look like it, and they all use an ISO flare or a bubble flare. So I don't know if I can get these fittings. I might have to reuse them on my car. I don't know. Either that, or I can look for ones in good condition, like this one, in the junkyard. But at least I know what I need. Looks like I bought a double flare kit for nothing, but it was like $20, so whatever. The ones at Napa are like $120 a piece. I thought that was ridiculous, but then I found some online on Sears. Well, that was an interesting find, though, that Merkur. Time to fix the brake lines. Finally, after a lot of searching, I found the brake line fittings that I needed. I went to the Napa Auto Parts that's in my school. They didn't have these. I went to Advanced Auto Parts. They didn't have these. I went to AutoZone. They didn't have these. I went to a frickin' Ford dealership, and they didn't have these. Finally, I looked at a Napa in the friggin' depths of Lowell, which took me forever to find, because Lowell has not a straight fucking road in it. finally found these. Problem is, there was only 7 of them, so I'm going to use this fitting that I got at the junkyard, which this is actually off of 4th gen. It had the same metering valve blocks, same fittings. So this one's in much better condition than the other fitting. So I'm going to have to use this fitting, and then these 7 fittings. Now you'll notice that the nut is smaller, but it doesn't matter. The thread is the same size. They're both the 3/16 brake line. I have bulk brake line. I have the flaring kit, which I actually only need 1 of, but I'm going to need them in the future because I'll be looking for a job at a Ford dealership soon. And I have all the stuff in that bag, along with Mighty Vac vacuum pump, so I can bleed the brakes afterwards. Next thing I gotta do is make sure all the bleeders crack, because if they don't all crack, then I'm gonna have to replace wheel cylinders or calipers, depending on which ones don't break open or just snap off. But aside from that, I have everything I need. I also bought 2 more jack stands so that I can put the car up on all 4s when I do this. It'll make things a hell of a lot easier.